Topic 2, review. Just like we do all the time, let's start with vocabulary. In this chapter, there were two main words we wanted to focus on, and they were all the way back in topic 2.1. First is the commutative property. Second is the associative property. And instead of writing a definition, I put a one-word hint of how you can remember it. For commutative property, think of it as switching. Let me show you why. If we have 2.2 plus 3.7 plus 2.8, the commutative property of addition tells me that I can switch those numbers around to make it work for me. So what I did is I switched these two around, and because I saw that this was 0.2 and this is 0.8, and I know those are compatible. They work really well together. So I added those two together first, and 2.2 plus 2.8 gave me 5. And then 5 plus 3.7, I just take 5 plus 3 is 8 and add the 0.7. It makes it a lot easier to do the commutative property. The second is associative, and the word that goes with that is grouping. When you see parentheses like this, you have to do them first. So it doesn't matter what else is in there, you always have to do the parentheses first. So let's take the same numbers we had, and normally we would have to do 2.2 plus 3.7 first, but those numbers don't work very well for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that grouping and move it over and do 3.7 plus 2.8. And I know that 7 and 8 make 15, so I take 3 plus 2 plus the 1 that we would have carried will give me 6.5, and then I add the 2.2. And it just makes it a little bit easier for me. The next section is rounding and estimating. Remember, there are really two purposes to rounding or estimating, and that's to make it easier and to get close. Remember, show your work. You can get something right when somebody else has the same answer and get it wrong because you showed what numbers that you were estimating or rounding to. When you see numbers like 3.896 and 5.123, if we were to add those two together, we would get a number pretty close to 9. And the reason I was able to do that in my head is I said, well, this is just about 4. This is a little bit less than, or a little bit more than 3, so we'll say 4. This is a little bit less than that, so we'll say 5. And so 4 plus 5 is 9. Something you'll see even more often is on this test is we'll say round to the nearest hundredth or round to the nearest tenth. What you do to round is you find the rounding digit, so it says to the hundredth, so the digit that's in the hundredth position, and you look at the digit next to it. Since 1 is less than 5, I'm going to leave that 9 the same and make everything else a 0. So I get an answer of 5 and 29 hundredths, or 5.29, and I can put a 0 if I want to, but I don't have to because the number stays the same. Let's look at addition. Remember, my favorite strategy for addition is what we call chunking. So I chunked the numbers into whole numbers and decimals. So let's look at the decimals first. 50 cents, and notice how my line goes all the way over, includes a decimal point. 50 cents plus 75 cents gives me $1.25. $30 plus $18 gives me $48. And then I just add 48 plus 1 is 49, and then I add my 25 cents. You could do that, or you could line up the place values. Remember, we write it vertically, even if it's written horizontally. We write it vertically, lining up the decimal points for our place values, and then we just do our adding. Subtraction is the exact same way. We're going to chunk our numbers, our whole numbers and our decimals. So we take our decimals first, 0.38 or 38 cents or 38 hundredths minus 17 hundredths, I get 21 hundredths. And then I look at my whole numbers, 27 minus 6 gives me 21, so my answer is 21.21. The next part is modeling. This is the type of graph that I'm looking to see. This is what the book likes to use. It's really simple and it's really easy to understand. Everything in here, everything inside the box is going to be a part. And then the line across the top says what the total is. So here's an example. I have 27 apples. 12 of them are red, 10 of them are green, and how many are spoiled or rotten apples? Well, I could tell you that 12 and 10 is 22, and the total of all of these three together are going to be 27, so that must mean that there are 5 spoiled or rotten apples. It's real simple. We have one part, the other part, and those will equal the total. Here's some words of wisdom before I let you go. First, make sure you answer all of the questions. Some will make you do 2 things. Just like in our game today, that last question, read carefully. Second thing is check your work, as always, and good luck. I will see you guys tomorrow. If you have questions, please ask before the test starts. Talk to you later.